Here's an update on Kherson, Ukraine. Kherson, what's going on in Kherson? It's occupied. Right now, you got the Russian raping army that is occupying Kherson. There's been no humanitarian aid. There's just hunger and terror and horror. In Kherson, there's been kidnappings and arrests of pro-Ukrainian activists. And then it continues in the region. Some people say they're being sent to possibly concentration camps. According to the regional prosecutor's office, 137 people are being held hostage by the Russians, including 4 journalists. There's 106 settlements in Kherson that are left without electricity. There's less and less food and medicine. The Russian invaders are taking every single last bit of everything away from the population. There's no life-saving medicines for the people with oncology or diabetes in the region. The capitalist, imperialist, homophobic invaders seized a humanitarian hub in Kherson, organized to help the townspeople and medical institutions of the region. The Russians took away medicine, baby food, diapers. A social media user revealed Russian soldiers threw black bags in the water every day at 5 a.m. A resistance organizer said Russian soldiers cut their hands while they're in captivity. Ukraine's human rights ombudswoman said that there are reports of the elderly who are being tortured and killed in Kherson. Russian forces have built a torture prison in the Ukrainian city of Kherson, where more than 100 people are believed to have been held captive. A Ukrainian MP said Lesia Vasilenko, a Ukrainian lawyer and politician serving as the People's Deputy of Ukraine, on Wednesday said that Russian soldiers have imprisoned nearly 150 Ukrainians in a torture prison in Kherson, the first and only major city in Ukraine to have fallen since Russia began its invasion of the country on February 24th. Kherson's fallen. It's the first and only major city in Ukraine which has fallen. That's why you're having all this, apparently there's activists and they're, arresting and they're kidnapping them, but you're not seeing the, the murders, the mass murders. Tom Much, a journalist in Ukraine for New Lines magazine, published a report where a 23-year-old resistance organizer detailed the suffering he experienced at the hands of Russian soldiers. While he was held in captivity, they cut our hands with their bayonets. They broke our ribs with their boots, shot next to our heads as we lay face down on a cold floor. The resistance organizer said that they already started digging their victims' graves. They said they'd already had dead bodies in it, including civilians, but that they were the lucky ones who were let go after hours of torture. And, do not fall into the hands of the Russians. Do not fall into the hands of the Russians. Kherson was the first city to fall, and it's currently witnessing widespread protest against the Russian occupation. Ukrainians in Kherson are holding peaceful protest, much to the ire of the Russians, who are using force to disperse the rallies. There's also widespread looting in the area. There are a lot more checkpoints throughout the city, lots of controls, for example, while our buses continue to operate. Albeit on a rather sparse schedule today, the occupying troops are stopping them to check everybody's IDs. He added that several men were taken off a bus, beaten, taken somewhere else, and shit like that happens all the time. Maybe someone ratted them out. He didn't know a lot of Russian checkpoints on the way they went through. They had to people were extorting others for food, cigarettes, or vodka. You had Yevhen Hryshik, Hrysyk, a local official, who recommended to the Ukrainians, the refugees, those are walking around, to have a bunch of vodka and cigarettes. Vodka and cigarettes to barter with the Russian checkpoints. Those could buy you another lease on life from the goons blocking the road. On some routes, it could be done with cash. So, I guess to get through the Russian checkpoints, you have some cash, some vodka, food. In the city of Kherson on April 3rd, 12 days ago, you had a mother of 4 who was living alone. Her husband, who's a Ukrainian soldier, was fighting in the Donbass. So a Ukrainian fighting for the Ukrainian people, for Ukrainian, sovereignty, for Ukrainian nationalism. While her children had been sent to the west of Ukraine earlier in the war, she said a customer in a grocery store had pointed her out to Russian soldiers, telling them that she was a soldier's wife, accused her of being a supporter of Stepan Bandera, an ultra-nationalist leader and Nazi collaborator against the Soviet Union. She said she left the store, but the soldiers followed her home, forced her to take off her clothes, and pinned her down. Without a word, they pushed me onto the bed, crushed me with a submachine gun, stripped me, the young woman said before bursting into tears. They hardly spoke except sometimes to call me a Banderovka, or to say to each other, your turn. And then around 4 o'clock, they left because it was time to go and take their turn guarding their camp. During the tearful interview, Elena said she hasn't spoken about the assault before and had not seen a doctor or a psychologist. Lots of reports of rapes. Kherson was occupied by the Russian army on March 3rd. Initially, the city was encircled. Neighboring villages and the Cherobayevka airport were under the enemy's military control. Then the Russian troops entered the city. His colleagues during the very first day of the war, the current governor, Gennady Laguda, put his keys on the mayor's table and said, I want no part of this, and left the region. Alongside of him, on the first day of the war, the police, the prosecutors, and the courts administrators left. Later, the security services evacuated the area. The city-based media outlets effectively ceased their work. The citizens now get their information through various independently run Telegram channels. There are no police in Kherson. So what the fuck? The moment the Russians, I guarantee you these sons of bitches, the general, the prosecutor, the police, and the goddamn court administrators are all shitty, oppressing the fuck out of their own people. The minute the goddamn Russians get there, they get the fuck out of Dodge. So when it comes to oppressing the people, it's like, wait, those guys have bigger guns and they're going to oppress the... yeah, it's not worth oppressing these people. We're getting the hell out of here. Fuck this shit. Which is, I heard this one statistic that governments kill more of their own people than they do foreigners, which... I guess maybe it makes logical sense, but it shouldn't. It's illogical too. So, let's see, a lot of rapes. The airport, Cherobayevka airport. The Russian troops entered the city. The entire court fucking takes off. The police are like, up. Look, if I can't go around giving people petty tickets when it comes to speeding, I don't want no part of this. You're supposed to protect and serve us against all of them. Yeah, motherfucker, aren't you talking to us restorative justice and, a people's police officer? I mean, what the fuck? How can you be a police officer and a prosecutor and all those people and just leave? The municipal security and self-organized volunteers carried out police duties. City officials say there are about 300 dead bodies inside the city's borders. Ahead of the Kherson Regional Bureau, Natalia Folenko believes this number tracks. However, there are many more casualties in the region, and there's no available information on the victims. So I believe there's probably about 300 bodies, right? They're occupying Kherson. They're probably walking around a bunch of dead bodies. They're probably trying to get rid of all the dead bodies right now, destroying them, and if they have to, leave, then they'll just try to hide the bodies in fucked up places, shoving it down a storm drain and shit. So there's an update on Kherson.